Hey, how you doing, guys? Let me turn this off here. I was listening to some Tyrese. If you haven't gotten Tyrese's new album, Black Rose, is actually pretty good. Throwback to some good old-fashioned R&B. And so I'm going to get ready to get started on what I'm talking about. Shout out to all those that are watching on replay, if that is how you are watching me. And if you have not known, this is the cover of my new book. And I'm going to start talking about that next week because I've gotten actually some direct messages and some emails about what I've written and what I plan on writing. But that's actually the cover of my new book, which is inspirational fiction. And I write from my heart. I write the things that I basically would like to see in a book. So you'd have to read it to tell me what you think. But I'll get more into that next week. Today, it is about invisible roadblocks. Thank you for the hearts, by the way. Appreciate it. And by all means, I think I missed a couple people that signed in, so feel free to say hello. I was sitting there thinking, as Labor Day weekend is coming up, I set some goals at the beginning of the summer for myself. And I believe that I am close on most of my goals, but I'm falling short on a couple. I'm going to go over everything on Monday, because the school year starts the next day. And hey, hello, how we doing? And what I'm going to do is sit down and reflect on what I did over that period of time that I set from July 6th to Labor Day. Which goals I achieved, which goals I didn't. And then I'm going to set new goals. And I'm going to look to get them out of the way. Now you may say, what does that have to do with invisible roadblocks? Easy. We tend to let fear, as well as overanalyzation, to cause us to create barriers that are not there. Hence, invisible roadblocks. We will look at a situation. I'll give you a perfect example because I'm somebody that deals with it. And so I am very cognitive of paying attention that I'm not over analyzing a situation to the point that I start to create diversions to things that have not happened. Also, when looking at fear, I was thinking this school year, I am an excess teacher, which means I do not have a building that I will be going to. I don't know which building I'll be going into until today or tomorrow. I have to check my email, and then they'll tell me where I'm to report on Tuesday. So this is going to be the first time in 18 years I don't know where I'm going to be teaching, and I'm not going to be teaching on a regular basis. I will be a sub at that building from September 8th to October 15th, and then every week after that, I will go to a different school, and this is what it is. So I had automatically started thinking of the negatives that come from being a substitute. And because I have great accountability people in my life who I speak to, and I have no problems with sharing what I'm doing with, and thank you so much for the hearts. One of the first things they brought up is, well, how do you know it's going to be negative? How do you know what the situation is going to be until you get there? And I needed that because once a person is able to point something out to me, my brain clicks in. I join from there. Thank you, all you guys that joined. My brain clicks in, and I start to focus, and I realize, you're right, a school year hasn't even started. So I can't make something negative that hasn't happened. So I removed the invisible roadblock that I started to place out in front of me, because here's what happens when you do that. When you place an invisible roadblock in front of you, you start to react based on the invisible roadblock that you created, and then you start to create scenarios based on something that is not real. And so fear and overanalyzation causes this. Hey, thank you, Elise. Listen, I appreciate that, because all of us, we're human, and we want to be prepared, but in being prepared, we forget that some of our greatest attributes is based on reaction. Now, yes, we are taught to be proactive. Thank you so much. We're taught to be proactive. We're taught to be out front, get ahead of it, be prepared. Yes, I agree with all of that. But there's also a point when you have to stop and let it be. Let whatever's going to happen, and then deal as it's happening or after it has happened. We cannot head off everything that we cannot see. And the crazy part is many of us who are believers in Christ, we're told to have faith, and faith is the ability in what cannot be seen. So if God is saying, chill, just believe in me, then we need to practice that. And if you're not a believer in Christ, okay, that's fine. It still stands to pat. You cannot create barriers on things that have not happened. You can't do it. And so for me, I've now taken a step back. I set my goals. I plan out what I'm going to do, and then I just do it. And I celebrate when I've gotten it done. And when I haven't, I analyze why I didn't. I don't beat myself up. And then I say, okay, what am I going to do the next day to either make up what needs to be made up? If it needs, if it needs to be made up, you may have to just chuck it to the side and say, I lost yesterday. I got today. I'm not worried about tomorrow. Hasn't gotten here yet. Will never come. It is always today. So no matter what you plan, no matter what your goals is, no matter what it is that you need, want, or whatever, you are still stuck in today. So you have to focus on what needs to be done today. So there's no reason to allow invisible roadblocks to exist. You control you. And it's simpler said than done. Don't get it twisted. I'm saying it because it's something I fight with and deal with. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to share the information to help somebody else who may be going through it. The key is recognizing that you've even placed that roadblock. Exactly. Focus on today. But you have to focus with an open mind. Focus on what needs to be done. I wrote on Facebook the other day that I did my needs and wants list. And shout out to Stephanie C. Harper, one of my friends who, Lord, she'll be on Periscope off and on all day. She's found a new toy. But her and I were talking, and she had mentioned that I needed to do that because I had some things that was all over the place and I needed to bring it back in. And when I sat down and did my needs versus my wants, and I had my wife do the same thing, and then we're going to sit down as a couple and do the needs and wants of the marriage. One of the things that I realized in setting up your goals based on what you need, the hope is as you're focusing and going forward on doing what you need to do, that you work in some of the things that you want. But the things that you want cannot be the main focus because you must remain focused on what you need. And hence, each day, it should be based on what am I doing to get me to my needs. So what do I need to do at this moment? And you'll start to remove those roadblocks because they won't be able to hold you back. So if losing 100 pounds is the need, that's the goal. Okay, what do I do today? Work out. What do I need to focus on? Getting to the gym. What do I need to focus on when I get to the gym? That I make sure that my workout is putting me in the best position possible to drop some weight. Once it's over, what do I need to do? Celebrate that I did it. What do I need to do after that? Now, what's the next thing on my list? Well, I wanted to make sure that I exercise my chest or my legs or my arms. Okay, well, you work in the want within the need, but you make sure that you stay focused. And so if you do that each day, now you are working towards your overall goal. But your overall goal, your overall need may have different extensions. So the 100 pounds may also include diet. It may also include the way that you think. So now you have to make sure that those spikes from the original goal is focused on. That's the other part of the day. Did I focus on what I ate for the day? Did I focus on what I was thinking for the day? Oh, yes, definitely. And actually, you need to do it the night before so you can actually have your list in place, because some people try to do it the day of and so many things can get tossed into the mix. I do that. Actually, I use my phone. I was reading an article how many people have smartphones, but they're so underused in terms of what they can actually do that I had a conversation with a woman and she's like, "Ooh, let me find a pen." I'm like, "Miss, you have your phone in your hand." She said, "Yeah, but I need to find a pen." I'm like, "You have a memo part to your phone. You don't need to find a pen. You could just use your phone." She's like, "I didn't even think about that." So I found it funny how many people, when trying to get organized, don't actually use their phone. So on my phone, I have my Google Calendar set up, which is daily. Okay, I'm not knocking the pen use. I'm just saying that you have this powerful machine in your hand. We can use that. But I use Google Calendar so I can set it up on my computer or my phone, and then they're both synced. So if I change something on my phone, it changes on my computer. I also use the memo. So my wants and needs list is on my memo on my phone, as well as my daily calendar. And what I do at night is I take time to reflect, of course, and pray. But then I also say, okay, what's going to be my list of the things that I need to do for tomorrow? So I at least have a few things down so I know what direction that I'm going in. Now, if at the end of the day, when I go back and look at my list and I didn't get to everything, that's part of my reflection. Why didn't I? What came up? Is that something that I need to plan for? Is the time that I spent, was it towards those overall needs? Now, we may sit here and go, who has time to do all that? Well, if your needs are important to you, you will do it. Like for me, one of my needs was to move to Delaware. But this journey through this school year is necessary because I am going to move at the end of the school year when I was originally planning on moving before. And after sitting down and analyzing it, I realized that it wouldn't be the best and cost-effective thing to do now. So I'm going to wait to the end of the school year. So the school year is part of the journey. It is not part of my main focus. It is just what I have to do and deal with to get to my goal of what it is that I need. Now, my want is to try to make this school year as productive as my previous school year. So I'm going to attempt to do that each day that I go to whatever school that I'm going to be at. But it's not going to consume me if a day went bad or a week went bad. You know what? Part of the journey to get to what it is that I need. And I'm not going to allow it to, like I said at the beginning of this, create invisible roadblocks that then prevent me from getting to what it is that I need. So I would say to anyone, make sure that you do your needs and wants list. Take time out, and it may change because you may remember something. You may think that that's not a need, that's a want. But get it down so it can become a living, breathing list that you need to add to. But each day, as you make your list of what you're doing for the day, look and see if there's any roadblocks that you've placed on the paper. Then think, is there any roadblocks that I'm placing inside my thoughts? Listen to the way that you are speaking about certain situations. Are you speaking about what is? Or are you worried or thinking about what will be? Catch yourself. Openly hear yourself say, wait a minute, that hasn't even happened. Let me stop that. Correct yourself. And if somebody hears you and says, what are you doing? Catching myself when I'm putting up invisible roadblocks. Catching myself when I'm creating invisible pitfalls. And when somebody says, what do you mean invisible pitfalls? Well, I'm not allowing myself to speak that negativity about something that hasn't happened. So I'm trying to keep that at bay. Because if you have accountability brothers and sisters who know what you're doing, then when they hear it, they can assist you. Have people around you that you can turn to that will listen to you when you're speaking, who are not going to pat you on your back and just tell you what you want to hear. Just going to say, nah, that's not the case, or, that's not what you told me last week, or that's not what you told me yesterday, who are going to hold you accountable to what you say you're going to do. And then at the end of everything, it comes down to you doing what you set out to do, you achieving what you set out to achieve. Now, are we always going to hit the mark? No. No one's perfect. But if you fall short and you achieved so much more than you thought, you're in a positive place. You might now need to reevaluate. You said 3 years, might take 4, but you're close. You're closer. Just like with working out. I dedicated the summer to working out. I know that I'm healthier. I feel that I'm smaller. Haven't gotten on the scale. I'm not scared. I'm going to get on. I'm going to see where I'm at. If I'm where I need to be, I'm going to celebrate it. If I'm not, I'm going to take a step back and see what did I do that caused me not to reach the goal. Maybe the goal was greater than I thought. So I need to reevaluate that. And when I set the new goal, take that information into consideration. Same thing in business. You put out a book falls flat. Before you panic, go back and consider, did you do all the promotion and marketing before? What happens when you get frustrated if you don't complete your needs and wants? Fine. You're human. You're going to get frustrated. But catch yourself and say, okay, you had your baby moment. You pouted. What are you going to do now? As my grandmother used to say, cry tonight and then get your ass up and live life. Pardon my language. I hope I didn't offend anybody. But that's what it is. Frustration is a part of the passion that we have for the things that we need and want. But when you come up short, okay, get frustrated, but then catch yourself and say, but now what am I going to do? Because the key isn't what are you going to do? That's why I said earlier, it is about your reaction. Allow yourself to react. Allow yourself to go through whatever it is. Because if at the end you fail, then there's something to be learned. And if nothing else, you learn that you can't do it that way, or you can't do it at that time, or you can't do it with that person, or you can't do it in that area. There is something to be learned from every failure. Learned about yourself, learned about the person, learned about the area. You may learn all those things, the friends that you have. So there's still no reason to set up invisible roadblocks, because there's enough around you to take in to help propel you forward. That's also why you can't overanalyze it. That's why I haven't scoped in the last 2 or 3 days. I needed to disconnect from this, because I found that you can get caught up in watching so many scopes of people telling you what to do that you forget what you need to do. And it almost becomes like television watching. You get so caught up in the fact that you are, okay, sounds good, let me know. And if I can help you in any way, feel free. I'm on Facebook, KL Belvin, Google+, Twitter, KL Belvin. Let me know. And if I can help you out with something, feel free. This is another part of this medium, is that if we can reach out to folks who can maybe help hold us up while we're going through some doubts, then again, there's no reason to create the invisible roadblocks. Also, pay attention to the things that are dragging you into positions that take you away from the focus that you want to have for the things that you are trying to get. Those become invisible roadblocks. Your allegiance to somebody may be beautiful, but pay attention that you're not using that as an excuse not to work on yourself. Oh, no, my sister needed me. My brother needed me. The job needed me. My husband needed me. My children needed me. The church needed me. The homeless dude on the corner needed me. And you gave to all these people, but never took time out to focus on what you needed to do. That is another way to create roadblocks inside your head, because by doing all this, you have a valid excuse. I needed to hear that. No, you know what? I know God, and I share what God puts on my spirit. Basically, I don't know what I'm going to scope about until I sit down a little while before I pick up my phone and say, okay, that's what I'm going to go in. And I'm so happy to hear that it's helping you, because actually it's what I'm dealing with. So we're fighting the same fight, and I'm with you. So I'm giving you what I'm trying to be as honest as possible, because I needed to hear that from some people that I was doing it, because I'd like to say I'm an intelligent person, but just because I'm an intelligent person don't mean I'm not fallible. I am, very much so. And we have to make sure that we're doing that. Like I said, I'm going to reevaluate what my summer has been. Decide the goal is going to be Christmas. I already know that. I'm setting it for Christmas. I like to set it before the new year. Just like now, I'm going to do it on Monday, which was Labor Day, but I'm actually doing some of my reflection now. My next goal is Christmas, and I'm going to sit down and coordinate what my goals are going to be, because in January, I start working on my second master's degree. I'm going back to school, and I need to know where I'm at. I need to know what I'm doing. I need to know exactly what the goal was, so I know what I'm focusing on, because the goal is going to change once I get to January, because now my focus is on getting myself together for school. So I need to know, how am I going to handle my own personal business? How am I going to handle school business? How am I going to take care of the wife and children? How am I going to do all those things? And some things may get less of me, and they will have to understand that. That's another thing too. Don't ever feel bad about doing what you need to do to take care of you when other people start to get less of you. My summer was not so happy. I need to focus and look out for me, of course. And the first thing is, take a step back and look at what your summer was. Where did you spend that time? Who did you spend that time on? Thank you so much for the hearts. And then ask yourself, why didn't you place that time on yourself? Because then that might be where you have to work. Invite others who might have themselves together to sit with you, or you get up under them and try to learn from them in how to overcome whatever it was that stole your time or that you placed your time with. And remember, you can control your happiness. People can do things to you, around you, whatever. How you feel about it is on you. So sometimes when I come into work, actually often when I come into a school, no matter what the environment that I was in, people would say, Mr. B, why are you always so happy? Because I got up this morning, and my great grandmother taught me that. I got up this morning. I always say, a lot of people didn't. There's a lot of people that's going to wake up tomorrow morning, and they're going to be facing their maker. And they're going to have to hold the accountability for whatever it is that they've done. And so when I get up and I'm still here, I'm happy because that means I got a chance to get it right. So definitely take the time out to consider what did you do this summer? What did you do with your time? And now don't dwell on it. Take the learning portions of the meat, throw away the bone. Say to yourself, I'm not going to do that going forward. And what are my goals going forward? And make sure your goals reflect a different mindset than what you had from the summer. And then create your plan. Once you create that plan, document your plan in your phone, on your computer. Make sure you set up your calendar on Google or Yahoo, whatever you use, because everything can be synced now. So whatever you do on your phone, you can do on your computer. So you have it in multiple places, and then make sure that you're taking time out at the end of the day to reflect on the day and plan for the next day and celebrate yourself when you're in the midst of anything. You're writing, you finished your writing total, celebrate. Yes. Whatever you celebrate with, cup of coffee, whatever. You want to get up and do the watch me dance, put on Salento and do your thing, whatever works. If you need to dance around the circle, whatever. I listen to some Tyrese, whatever. And then get back to work. Get back to work on whatever the next part of the goal is. And work in, while working on your goals, the things that you want. That is why you create the wants and needs. And thank you so much for the hearts. So guys, as I bring this to a close, I hope that this has been helpful to those watching. If you need to reach me, you can reach me at main office, M-A-I-N office at bravenpublishing.com. I am on Facebook, KL Belvin. I am on Google Plus, KL Belvin. Twitter, KL Belvin. I am also on Twitter, Braven Books. That's my publishing company. My website is www.bravenpublishing.com, BRAVIN publishing.com. And I'm here. Reach out. Love to talk to new folks. I am going back to school to work on my master's degree in ministry and counseling because I have some things that I want to try to add to what I'm seeing going on in churches. And so I'm going to throw my professional hat in the ring to try to work on those things. I have a new book that is coming out very soon. This one right here, Lukewarm Saint. As you see, that is my man Kevin. And I want you to take a look at his face because you can kind of figure out he's a ladies' man who knows what he should be doing, but he loves the ladies. But we're going to talk about why that's the case. Also, December 25th, Soul of a Man Part 2, an anthology written by the brothers with some outstanding stories put out by Peace in the Storm publication by the lovely Miss Elise Gabriel. I believe she was still on here. And I'm looking forward to the release of that book in the Christmas time. That's another reason why I set my goal for Christmas. Okay. Well, which one? Because I mentioned two, but actually you can go by my website. We have a few books. My recent book, From Gigolo to Jesus, actually takes you through how I made this transition from being a misogynistic whore of a man to a loving husband, father, man of God. It was not an easy transition, and I put it all out there in a book. But feel free to stop by our website, www.bravenpublishing.com. And if you need me to come speak at a school, church, or whoever, let me know. I'm always available to set up speaking engagements because I look forward to helping other people. I look forward to trying to make a difference in this world because, as I have said many times, I owe for the way that I lived my life for so many years in opposition to the Lord that I feel I owe him in so many ways. So I try to give back, whether it's here on Periscope, in public, in my writing, on Facebook, whatever I put down on paper, whatever I put out for public consumption, I feel should be representative of who I really am and what God has allowed me to become and hopefully to continue to grow into. So again, if this has helped, I definitely appreciate the hearts and definitely appreciate the love. But feel free to share this message with your followers on your page. Feel free to share this on Twitter. If you don't know how to do that, you just simply slide up or down. Actually, slide it up. You'll see the button there that says share on Twitter or share with your followers. Or if you have an iPhone, slide left or right. And feel free, hey, there we go. Share it. That's what I'm talking about. Share it on Twitter. Share with the other people. Also, you can always come back and watch me on replay. And if it's after 24 hours and it's no longer on replay, I put all of my scopes on my YouTube page, which is KL Belvin at YouTube. Feel free. All my other videos from other things and some other speaking engagements that I've done are there. So feel free to stop by. But please offer me some feedback. Please reach out and let me know what you think, because I love connecting with new people. I don't know an author that doesn't. Sometimes I got to remember I'm an author and talk about the books, but I try to talk about situations that's going to help change lives. So next week, I'm going to start a series on discussing my literary works and the works that I have coming up, so you can actually see what I do as an author. But like I said, my goal is always to help. And again, I hope that this has helped. So guys, have a wonderful day. Remember, remove those invisible barriers that are in front of you, because you placed them there. And you can easily just wipe them away by what you do, by what you think, and what you focus on. So again, have a wonderful day. It's been my pleasure. Take care. God bless. This is always the how do we sign off from